Hey, all my fantasy football friends, welcome you to another in-season installment, Week 10 from Multiple First Dynasty Football. Bringing it to you, we got buys and sells today for you on the show. We got our starts of the week, we got sits of the week, and we just got some quality banter and discussion between myself, Stosh X, and the man himself, Greg the Philosiraptor. How are you, man?
I am doing wonderful. Uh, Tony, we are getting to Thanksgiving time of year, and that is a great time of year uh, for, just life, but it's also a great time of year for our fantasy seasons, our dynasty seasons. Um, we are starting to make playoff runs. We're starting to figure out if we are a bye week team. We are deciding, are we a contender or a rebuilder? And uh, it's an awful lot of fun right now. Where are you at?
Yo,
Uh,
making decisions, man. I've been sending out. I've been actually kind of annoyed lately because I send out so many flyers in so many leagues, and it's just declines, man. I'm hitting like 90, 95% decline rate on just every. And you know me, I'm trying to make mostly fair trades, and it's just not happening, man. I've really been like specifically annoyed, if I'm gonna whinge a little bit here, that I cannot seem to buy a QB3 anywhere for a reasonable price, like a third plus a fourth, or like even a second round pick. I can't buy one in my leagues where I've had Daniel Jones or Kirk Cousins or Matt Stafford. And I can't buy one, and I also cannot sell one that I own for what I'm offering in other leagues. And that is just driving me absolutely nuts. So I just wanted to put
mm-mm,
that into the universe. Yeah.
like what kind of players are we talking about here?
Like Baker Mayfield, Gardner Minshew, like those are the two that I really want to buy out of the QB3 range and to fill some holes. But like, I don't know, Taylor Heineke,
So you're struggling to get it. You can't get those guys for contending second.
uh, yeah, pretty much, yes. Mac Jones, maybe he's a little higher than that, but like just like trying to be cost effective shopping for a quarterback, and I cannot buy
Hmm.
one. And then in the leagues I own them, I'm offering them for the cost effective rates and not also missing. So it's been
No, I get it. I
yeah.
get it. It's tough out there
Yeah.
at times, but I think
Yeah.
I think now is the time when teams start to decide that they're really out of it, right? I
Mhm.
think 2-7 is a number where you look at that and you go, "Ooh, I'm definitely out of it," right? And so
Yeah.
all of a sudden you've got you're able to find more partners. Even your 3-6 teams, right? A lot of those teams are going to be 3-7
Yeah.
by the time we're talking again next week, right? And so Monday, Tuesday, if a 3-6 team takes another loss, you should be making offers for their older players
Mhm.
if you're a contender.
Mhm.
Right? If you just went to 7-3,
Yep.
go but you've got that hole at quarterback 3, go look for the team that just went to 3-7. And you might find somebody who's willing to sell Josh Dobbs real cheap, one
Yeah,
of
man.
those
Cortland
pieces.
Sutton, George Kittle, Travis Kelsey, Derrick Henry. I mean, these are guys that can all. Josh Jacobs. These are guys that can be had that are going to keep producing. Um.
And I made a trade this week.
Mhm.
I don't want to get too bogged down in
Yeah.
like my trades or whatever. But th- I bought a bunch of older players from a team that had fallen out of it. They'd had some bad injury luck and so forth, right? And so
Yeah.
I bought a package of your Mike Evans, David Montgomery, Josh Jacobs types, right? And like I didn't give up picks. I gave up young players who were not helping me, like Traylon Burks and Christian Watson and Tank Bigsby and Jonathan Mingo. So
Mhm.
like you can go look to trade like young players who maybe are never going to be any good and kind of might just be mirages out there.
Yeah.
You can go trade those players instead of trading your picks to go fill some of these rental holes. I think now is a wonderful time of year to start looking to bargain shop if you are a contender.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And so let's get into it. Let's get into our buys and our sells from league wide. So we like to buy high and sell low here on the channel, meaning we're going to ride some trending ups and we're going to ride some trending downs as well. I'm going to get us kicked off here. My buy high for the week is going to be Bears tight end Cole Kmet. Kmet's been on a tear lately. He's on a rise from tight end 14 up to tight end 8 right now, using Keep Trade Cut as a tracker for that from 14 to 8. Yeah, I could definitely see him continuing to rise through those ranks, maybe up to a tight end 4 even. Komet right now in the season is 46 of 57, 46 catches on 57 targets, 400 yards and 5 touchdowns. We love that. We especially love that because it's an 80% catch rate, and that is 25th in the NFL among all pass catchers. So that's sweet. He's got 6 games this season with 7 or more targets. He's got 10 red zone targets. He's 4th among tight ends in red zone targets. He's only 24 years old. I think you're going to have a hard time prying this guy away from his current manager, but if you're tight end needy, I really like exploring getting Cole Kmet.
Yeah, that's a really good name. Cole Kmet has been impressive recently.
Yeah.
And he's got some contract security. So there's a lot to like there. And you're right about the age. For my buy high, I'm really following in with you on this tight end thing. So Cole Kmet up from 14 to 8 among the tight end rankings. My guy is Trey McBride, who is up from tight end 16 on Halloween to tight end 11 today.
Yeah.
And I just think, he's a pretty good player. Zach Ertz has been bad this year. And Trey McBride's per route numbers have been really good. And his numbers since Zach Ertz went on injured reserve have been really good. He's got the potential, the draft capital. He's a second round pick, second year player. He's second among all NFL tight ends this year in targets per route run. He's 4th among all NFL tight ends in yards per route run and 7th in fantasy points per route run. So he's been very efficient all year, and now he's got massive opportunity. And this is a team that's going to turn the corner from Zach Ertz next year, and you're getting Kyler Murray back. So, there's a possibility that the offense is just better.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So I think the potential is there for Trey McBride to be a top 5 dynasty tight end by the end of the year. If he has a really hot second half, people get excited about those things. And I think it's a double buy sort of situation because he's going to be a playable asset for you for the rest of the year, and he might be an increasing asset. So it's an opportunity for you to buy points now and have the asset appreciate in value. And those are really good situations to get yourself into.
Yeah, I love it, man. I think McBride's got nowhere to go but up. First tight end drafted out of his class. He was pretty much dirt cheap in most startups this year, so you might be able to get him for 4 cheap. But yeah, guys, we're going to be unloading. We're going to be selling low on a few players. Will you take the first sell? I want to go second here.
Yeah, so I think we're going to be on different ends of the cost spectrum here.
Yeah.
I am selling low on Rashad Bateman.
Yeah.
Who is the wide receiver 63 right now, down from wide receiver 45 in August. And he was a top 40 wide receiver all offseason. And I just think we know he's not very good now. And this is the kind of player I would be moving if I were a contender for rentals, right? So whatever a rental means to you in your needy situation, if you're a quarterback needy team, right? Would you be interested in Josh Dobbs? Could you get Josh Dobbs for Rashad Bateman?
You probably got to kick more with Bateman because the Dobbs owners signed him. But yeah, that's a good
Dobbs for Bateman in a third. And so then you're getting into that pick without having to give up your first or second round. But you're getting into that asset without having to give up either of your premium picks, right?
Yeah.
And so I like moving a player like this with a lower pick to get at players. that I couldn't. That would otherwise cost me a high draft capital piece. And I think Bateman still has an attractive name. The other thing is you'll see there his usage has been better the last 2 weeks,
Yeah.
but there's some injury stuff there and some garbage time stuff there, right? So that's not really real. He's playing behind Odell Beckham. He is the 3 in an offense that plays a lot of 2 tight end sets. He's the 3rd wide receiver in an offense with a tight end who's the real receiver 1 and plays a lot of 2 tight end, and the quarterback gets a lot of rushing yards. So like there's a lot of things here where he just isn't producing. He isn't getting opportunity, but he still has a name and a pedigree. And this is all going to go to zero in the offseason is what I think.
Former first round
Right.
pick, and now you probably willing to unload him for a third if you could get it. But mostly probably a player in most situations that
Right. Trying
that
to get a
someone's going to
player.
do something. Yeah.
Rebuilding teams who are trying to sell pieces. Oh, yeah, rebuilding teams who are trying to sell pieces like Baker Mayfield or whoever. If they can't get a straight pick, they'll take these young players who are actually mirages.
Hmm.
That's my take.
Yeah, I think they will. I like it a lot. I'd definitely be willing to get rid of him. We're this deep into the third year. It's not going to happen for Bateman. Um, my sell low right now is Mr. Devon Achane of the Miami Dolphins. So Achane's coming back from his knee injury here. He's going to be returning after the Dolphins bye, and I don't have to tell you what he did. We all know it. I like him as a sell low here. I don't have a lot of measurables to match up to speak to here, other than just the lack of longevity at the running back position. I'm not trying to knock this guy for his size. You could even take that out of the equation, but he's just in general running backs don't have multiple seasons like this. Even if he comes back from his current injury and is like full speed again, there's just a high opportunity that a high probability that that's gonna fade. He's gonna get hurt again, regardless of size. He just is with his position. He's currently trading as the running back 7 on Keep Trade Cut. That's down from 4, which is where he was when he took his injury. If the running back, that's like top 30 player territory. You can sell a top 30 player for like someone's first and 24 and their first and 25. A contending team that's coming up on the trade deadline may offer you that for Achane, and I would be willing to sell pretty much any share of mine for him. I have a lot of this guy. I like him. It's not a sell low, as in sell low. It's you need to get like 2 first worth of value for him, but I think you can, and I would definitely pull the trigger on doing that for Achane right now. You need to be greedy, but I would send out flyers like 24, 25, fifth is something that could happen for sure.
Uh, how do you feel about him? Forget the injury. How do you feel about him as a store of value? Uh,
Like holding it, you mean? Like through the
yeah, is he just a bad is he likely to be worth this much in May
No,
or
I
September,
personally don't think so, and maybe that's
even
just
if he's healthy?
yeah. And like I said, it's more gut than anything. It's spaghetti and meatballs in your gut thing, but this just
That's what I'm
strikes.
trying to
Yeah,
talk about. Yeah.
yes, yeah,
Like isn't there a world here where he's very effective per touch, but actually Raheem Mostert out touches him all year, and maybe he's a little less electric per touch
hmm
than he was early, and all of a sudden he's just like the running back 14 by September. You know what I mean? Like even if he's healthy, uh, that was unsustainable,
yeah,
and he is little, right? He is like they might just protect him. He might not get hurt, but they
yeah,
might protect him by limiting his touches. And sure, he can be very good, but like part of the problem is if he's a 9 carry guy or whatever, even if he's electric per carry, he's going to have a lot of weeks where he's like 3
just
points.
bricks. Yeah,
Right.
yes,
And some of these other guys, like a bad week is like 9 points, and then all of a sudden you're eking out wins, right? And so, he this is just a little bit hot for me.
yeah. I totally agree. That's the best way to put it. He's overheated,
Yeah.
and now is the time to strike because like a down game off this injury, and he's probably gonna mostly hold, but that trade deadline is going to happen in your league week 10, 11, 12, 13. And he's going to be volatile, and there's a very real chance when trading opens back up in your league post regular NFL season ending, Achan is like 2 tiers lower than he is right now. That could happen. So sell
Mhm.
if you can get market for him.
Absolutely. All right, so let's do some starts and sits of the week.
Starts and sits of the week. Let's go. All right. We're gonna hit you with starts and sits for what do we do? We do 10 and 12 team leagues.
In like a 12-team start 10 to 12 players.
Yeah, that's what it is. There you go.
12-team leagues start 10 to 12 players, super flex, tight end premium. That's what we're thinking about. So there are some great shows if out there if you're looking for who to put in your flex one in a 2 wide receiver league. That's useful too. But all of those guys are starting in these leagues that we're talking about.
Yeah, stuff like I'm putting on the screen for you right now. 10 and 12, even 13, 14 team leagues, multi-tight end leagues, super flexes, PPR, tight end premium. That's what we play in. That's what we focus on here. So let's get into it. Quarterback start of the week for Stosh is going to be Mr. Will Levis of the Tennessee Titans. So I think you need to jam Levis into your lineup. Get him out there as your QB2 this week. He is a rookie quarterback on the road. And I'm here to tell you, you should play him. Tampa Bay is bottom five in the league in pass rush success rate, and they are also bottom five in points allowed to the fantasy quarterback and the fantasy wide receiver both. We got a 40-point over-under here. We got a nice, sunny, 88-degree football game in Florida. It's a little on the warm side, but beautiful weather to play ball in. And the line on this game is within 3 points. Decent chance that this hits the over. Going to be competitive. He's going to be slinging down to the end. I like Will Levis this week. I'm starting most of my shares.
There you go.
Yeah,
I love it. I traded one of my 2 shares this week.
Mm-hmm.
So
what did you get for him? Was he part of one of those deals you mentioned earlier?
He's part of a huge deal for me. I got Jared Goff back, and some other stuff. But yeah, it was. I think he has a lot of potential. But I agree with you that this is a good week to start your Tennessee pass catchers.
Yeah, I like him over Dobbs, over Love. Over Minshew. Those are the guys I'm starting him over. Sorry, I'd like to mention a few names. Go ahead.
No, I think that's good. One guy who I am not starting Levis over is my start of the week.
Oh yeah.
And that's Kyler Murray. So listen, guys, his quarterback by apocalypse. I absolutely love the matchup against Atlanta, and we've seen this guy be really good a whole bunch of times. He's got good weapons, to be honest.
Yeah, he does. Yep.
Hollywood Brown is a legit mid wide receiver one. But a real wide receiver one, not a great wide receiver one, but a real one. And then I like Michael Wilson. Rondale Moore is a gadgety piece. Trey McBride, we've already talked about.
James Conner. Is he going to play? Is he coming back?
I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, I don't think he is, right?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't expect him to play personally. Yeah, but this offense should be rolling. Yeah.
This is a no risk it, no biscuit play for me. I just I want if I've been playing, if I've been playing Patrick Mahomes and somebody else all season, right, and then Patrick Mahomes is on bye, I'm shoving Kyler in my lineup. If I've had Kyler, on hold as my number 2, or as on an injured reserve, and I've been playing my number 3 as a number 2. I'm not waiting around for it. I'm just jamming Kyler back in the lineup over my Baker Mayfields, over my just about all of these guys, Levis, over Geno Smith, over
Derek
overall. All those guys. I'm just going to play Kyler. We're going to see how it goes. We've seen him run. Atlanta stinks. Atlanta makes dumb mistakes. Atlanta makes mediocre quarterbacks look good. I'm rolling with it.
Yeah, Kyler was pretty much matchup immune back before the injury, so just fire him back up, even though it's a bad matchup. I don't have any of him, but I would start any shares I had for sure. Running back start of the week for me is going to be Najee Harris for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He might already be out there in these deeper leagues we talk about for you. I've definitely sat him periodically throughout the season though, and I have pretty good exposure to Najee. So
Hmm.
I'm jamming every one of my shares this week. I'm trying to get him out there against Green Bay. Green Bay is not the softest running back matchup like years past. They're pretty mid. But we saw 16 carries from Najee last week. We see 12 targets over the last 3 weeks. Good numbers. They're at home. Like I said, the matchup's mid, but a good chance to score at home for Najee. 3.8 yards per carry is nothing to write home about. Their offensive line stinks, but I like Najee to perform this week as a high-end RB2 type. I like Najee more than like James Madison or Alexander Madison, more than like Javonte. Trying to get Najee out there over some of my flex receivers too.
Very good. Yeah, I don't have a lot of exposure to Najee,
Hmm.
but where I do, I'm playing him. Um, my running back start of the week is Devin Singletary. I know he was not good last week, but Dameon Pierce is out again. The usage has been there. The offense has been good. It's a rough week for deep plays at running back, and I I have a few shares, and I'm starting all of them as like the 10th, 11th guy in my lineup,
Hmm.
either as a flex or as a running back two in a wide receiver heavy build. And I like, uh, you know, he's gonna get like 60, 65 plus percent of the running back work in an offense that is good in a game that I think will be a shootout.
Oh yeah.
And that's like, even though they can't run the football, you know, there's going to be opportunities to fall in the end zone. There's going to be opportunities to get a check down. And, and he'll probably get 11 carries or, 12, 13, 14 carries for 31 yards on top of the passing game work and the touchdown possibility, and it'll be fine.
Yeah, I like that. I don't own any Singletary, but I could totally see firing him up as a like low RB2, high.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what you're saying in that 10th, 12th spot of your lineup.
Yep.
Yeah. Wide receiver start of the week. For me, I am starting JSN this week, Jackson Smith and Jigba for the Seattle Seahawks. Getting him out there. We have 7 targets last week on 30 routes run. Love to see that. 23% target rate. The Washington Commanders are bottom 3 in the league against the wide receiver. Um, there's a 44-point over under. There's nothing not to love about JSN. Kind of like Najee, he may already be out there for you, but if he's not, find a way to get him in there. I like JSN more than I like him more than Zay Flowers. I like him more than Christian Watson and Gabe Davis, George Pickens, any of those guys. I'm playing JSN.
Yeah. No, I really love that. So I think JSN is ready to get moving.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yep. Who's your wide
Um,
receiver start of the week, sir?
so my wide receiver start of the week is I'm going to sort of give you a depending on the depth of your league. I think Tank Dell is probably starting in most places where people have him,
Yes, sir.
but you should absolutely start him everywhere because Nico Collins is out. Okay. And I think Nico Collins missing the game means I really, really, really want to start Noah Brown. So if you added Noah Brown for free somewhere, he can be your flex 3 in that start 11 lineup this week, and you feel really good about it because this is going to be a shootout. I'm going right back to the same game, right? This is going to be a shootout. Oh, by the way, with T. Higgins out, you can look at Tyler Boyd.
Absolutely, Tyler
You can
Boyd. Yeah.
look at Trenton Irwin. These are all the people I was thinking of here. You can look at Robert Woods, right? Like all of these guys are guys I'm really interested in because you're going to have a shootout, and you've got one of the starting wide receivers on both teams missing, and so there's a lot of lower level pass catchers who are going to get funnel targets. Or who are going to get increases in opportunity, and I want all pieces of those. And you know what? Noah Brown has looked really good to me whenever he's been out there.
Do you like Brown over Schultz in a flex spot, or Schultz still
In
Schultz maybe?
I probably take Schultz.
Yeah, me too. Yeah,
But it's real close if it's not a tight end premium.
for
If
sure.
we're talking
Yeah.
tight end premium, it's
Hmm.
definitely Schultz. But
Yeah.
no, but I like Noah Brown quite a bit. I also have always thought he's a good player. Like I had him as I was looking at some of our notes from a year ago recently, and
You
I had
mentioned him.
uh,
Yeah.
as they go ahead and add this guy as a late ad.
Yeah.
So there you go. Wide receivers. Let's hit some tight ends, man.
Yo, tight end starts of the week. For me is going to be Mr. Taysom Hill for the New Orleans Saints. So Taysom's been on a tear. You might not be sitting him. He maybe is a must start for you, but like his routes fell off a cliff. All right. Last week he only ran 13 routes. To Juwan Johnson, the returning tight end's 25. So Juwan just ate up all of that 30 plus routes that Taysom was getting before. I'm telling you to stay in the flames with this guy. Biggest reason, Taysom Hill is the only tight end who has gotten 22 red zone carries this season, and he's got 11 of those from inside the 5. So 22 inside the 20, 11 inside the 5. He's getting a few targets. The snaps are still there. That plagued Taysom Hill way early in his career. Sometimes he would only play like 2 or 3 snaps, but this team is making it a point of getting him out there on the field like 50% of the time. High value touches. Give me Taysom Hill.
He's throwing more passes too.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Like he's not throwing a lot of passes, but he's throwing enough passes, including some in the red zone.
Yes.
Where like they give him the ball and everybody sucks up like it's going to be a quarterback power.
He gets RPO down there. Yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So like he's got 3 outs now, right? He's running a decent amount of routes. He caught an out route for a touchdown the other week. He's getting red zone carries. He's getting red zone pass attempts. He is he's getting the throwing again like a play action bomb with him on 3rd and short in midfield at range. Like I think there are just enough ways for him to be great that you should. Yeah, I like that very much.
Yeah, like I own him in like this league here. I don't know. Can you see my screen? Am I sharing it?
Yeah.
All right, like I could play Taysom over like my start of the week JSN. I don't even have my second QB. All I got's Russ. And I've been debating this, so I don't know. But we got Taysom Hill down here somewhere.
Yeah, I think Taysom Hill.
Maybe I don't.
I think if it's tight, I think tight end premium scoring makes it better.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that because he hasn't caught a lot of balls, but he's had games where he does, right? So, I probably would play him over JSN.
Sit Pickens for. Well, I'm playing JSN over Pickens, so I'm going to sit Pickens for Taysom.
I would sit.
We're doing it. We're making live start sit decisions. Here it is. All right. Who's your tight end of the week?
Cade Otton, man. Cade Otton, I think hit a lot of people's radars last week with the big game and the 2 touchdowns, but his last 3 weeks are 21 targets, 15 catches, 140 yards, and 2 touchdowns, right?
Love it. Yeah. He was on fire last week. Like, I loved watching that game.
That's really good.
Yeah.
But he has had 96% snap share or better in all but 1 game this year. This is one of the most route involved and snap involved tight ends there is, and he's a good blocker. And sure, like the 2 guys on the outside take a lot of the oxygen, but he's really developed as the 3rd target in that offense, and he is a pretty solid player. He was a pretty decent prospect. I think Cade Otton is a fringe tight end 1-2 right now. Again, like we're without Kelsey this week. We're without Goedert for a while. We're without some guys who are meaningful to the position. And so in that situation, I think Cade Otton is a high tight end 2, fringe tight end 1, and a really good start if you're like, oh, who do I play for Kelsey this week?
Yeah, I love that. I have a couple shares of Otton I'm starting. I have a bunch of him I'm just staring at in taxis, and I'm stoked because it's looking good for Cade Otton. All right, man. So last thing we like to hit here is our sit of the week. So this is any position, just one guy that Greg and I are going to advise you to sit in your start 10s and your start 12s. So even in deep lineups, we don't recommend playing these players. I'll go first here. My sit of the week has been one of the breakout players of the season, but I don't think you can play him right now, and that's Jacoby Myers for the Las Vegas Raiders. Jacoby has only had 6 targets over the last 2 weeks, and that stinks. AOC, Aiden O'Connell has had a rough stretch. He's only thrown the ball like 25 times last game. Yeah. But I I hate this matchup against the Jets. This is a 36-point over/under. This is rough usage. This is two bad quarterbacks in a low over/under game going against two really good pass rushes, and that just sucks. Like this could be a game where the only touchdowns scored are defensive. Like that's possible. I think you're better off leaving Myers on your bench for darn near anybody.
Yeah, I didn't go after this game because I didn't want both of our sits of the week to be from the same game.
I love that. You're such a team
There
player.
were a lot of guys in this game who are like, Javonte Adams. Like, you probably got to play him, but like, I don't feel very good about it.
No.
Right? There's a whole bunch of, anybody on the Jets, right?
Yeah.
I'm probably playing Breece Hall. Like, I don't feel good about Garret Wilson if I have to. It's been pretty ugly. So yeah, I'm with you on all of that. My sit of the week is Jerome Ford, Cleveland running back. Look, Jerome Ford got most of the work when he came back, but Kareem Hunt is eating into his carries a lot, and while he was gone, Pierre Strong looked good, and Pierre Strong got like a few touches last week, also. And so there's a bit of a split there. You're probably looking at that and thinking, I can get Jerome Ford comfortably back in the lineup because he was getting a majority of the work. But Baltimore's a terrible matchup.
Terrible.
I think it's going to be a really, really ugly game, and the over/under is terrible. And I don't think there's going to be a lot of points scored here.
They seem to like Kareem Hunt more in the red zone. So
right. And so Jerome Ford is not the falls into the end zone and makes a bad day okay.
Yeah.
Back on this team. That's right. That's Kareem Hunt. So I just think you're going to end up not happy with him. And you in these deeper leagues, certainly in a start 12, you're going to have no option probably. But in like a start 10, you might have some of these other options like Taysom Hill, right? And I'd be looking for ways to get away from Jerome Ford if I could. Like if it's what I consider Kate Otten, if it's a good enough tight end premium, right?
Yeah.
Would I consider Noah Brown, right? Like because I just think Jerome Ford is gonna stink.
No, that's fair. I don't get baited by those 20 carries last week. A lot of that's garbage time. The running back to play in Cleveland right now is Kareem Hunt. So to simplify a little bit with Ford is just, are you going to play the RB2 in a bad matchup like that?
I don't think that's right. I would play Ford over Hunt.
You think
and
so?
I still don't want to play Ford.
Yeah. Okay. I like Hunt a little more.
No, I just think the usage is clear. I think Ford is clearly the number one.
Okay.
But he doesn't get the goal line work, and it's a full two-headed monster, and this is going to be a terrible matchup. No,
I'm getting tricked by the touchdowns. Yeah,
you're getting tricked by the touchdowns.
The snaps are there a lot, but like it was a lot of garbage time for Ford last week. I mean, they pretty much handled the Cardinals, but
for sure. But I think Ford is clearly the number one, and I still don't want to play him.
All right.
I just want out of that matchup because Baltimore's run defense has been terrific.
Love it. I don't love it because it's the Browns and they're probably going to lose.
Amari Cooper needs to have a big day if the Browns are going to win. That is my feeling.
And Njoku's like, I've seen him ranked really highly along with the other pundits, people liking him, but I don't like him that much this week. I'm concerned for that. Yeah,
I considered Njoku here too, but I didn't want to go tight end.
That's fair.
Like, so you have already had a lot of tight ends this week, right? So that was my thinking.
All right, I love it. All right, so that's it, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Hit like, hit subscribe, leave a comment. Let me know who you're sitting for JSN. Let me know who you're starting Will Levis over. I want to know. Let me know who you sold Rashad Bateman for. I'm curious to know about these trades if you're making moves based on what we're telling you, because that's what we're trying to do is give you actionable content, things you can act on around here. But this is Multiple First Dynasty Football at Twitter handle.
Yeah, at FF Dynasty DGen over here, Philosiraptor at FF Dynasty DGen on Twitter.
Yeah.
And check out our YouTube channel. Obviously, you're there. Like and subscribe. Have a good one.
Yeah, man. Good luck. Week 10. Later.